Hello, I'm Wendy Mann-Resnick. Today on Suncoast FYI, the Celery Fields Birdathon. George Schofield is here from the Clarity Group, and we'll tell you about the Legacy of Valor campaign. And we learn about Kopernik, Anshin, Benderson, and the Senior Olympics. All next on Suncoast FYI. Thanks for stopping by on Suncoast FYI. Jean Duby is president of the Sarasota Audubon Society, and we're delighted that you're here today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And so tell us, what is the Celery Fields Birdathon?
Well, it's an event for children, and it's a team event where children are assigned to one of our bird experts, and they go out on teams and count as many birds as they can see within about an hour, and then we come back and see which team counted the most.
And where do they do this?
They do it at the Celery Fields. We'll designate one area for it, probably about 100 acres or so. And
wow.
We have a possibility of getting 30 or 40 or even more species in 1 hour. So
and where is it? I never heard of that. I've lived here for 41 years. Where are the Celery Fields?
The Celery Fields are east of I-75 and just south of the Fruitville Library. It's a stormwater collection zone owned by the county, and because it's an open area, 400 acres or so, it's just a wonderful place for wildlife and birds especially, but all other passive recreation as well.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. I always learn interesting things on this show, actually.
Yeah.
And so when we do think of the Audubon Society, we do think of birds, but what else is the Audubon Society involved in?
Well, we're a conservation organization. We have about 1,200 members here in Sarasota. And our major conservation project is the Beach Nesting Bird Project, where during the spring and summer birds nest right on the beach, on the sand. And so we have volunteers out there protecting them and roping off the areas. You may have seen that.
That's different than the turtles, obviously.
Yes, actually
because
it is.
They rope off.
That's right. We rope off larger areas for the birds. And so that's our a major conservation project. But the other big push for us is children's education, environmental education.
And do you go into the schools and...
Well, what we did, last year we launched a fabulous program called the Celery Fields Explorers, where we got over 1,100 Sarasota County school kids free of charge out to the celery fields for environmental education. And it was a huge success.
Isn't that terrific?
Yeah.
And you don't have that for adults?
No, we don't, but we don't forget adults either, because we have a docent program at the Celery Fields where any visitor, whether they're bird watchers or not, can go out onto the boardwalk every day from November 1st until the end of April, and there's somebody out there with a telescope and with a bird book, and they can help them identify birds and plants and so on. But we had 3,000 visitors to the boardwalk last year.
And so how big is this boardwalk? I mean,
It's about 100, maybe 100 yards out there, and a beautiful pavilion. And
Isn't
you
that
just sit
great?
there with benches. It's just wonderful, yeah.
And so if somebody wants to come out, that they should bring their binoculars and so they can see the birds?
That's right, we can do that, or we can help them. We can put the spotting scope on a bird and show them, and people absolutely love it. They just love it.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. As I said, I have never heard of that, but I'm so glad to know that. That's a great thing to do, actually, on an afternoon.
Well, you'll hear a lot more about us because we're in the middle of a capital campaign to build a nature center at the Celery Fields.
And that's called the Gift of Nature?
That's the campaign, Gift of Nature
So
campaign.
tell us a little bit about that and how people can get involved.
So, our members have come through in a big way, and we have almost as much as we need to build a building, but we have to also build our endowment fund. And so we expect to start building sometime next spring or summer. And if people want to donate, we'd be happy to have it. They can get onto our website. It's sarasotaordobon.org, and they can contribute online or they can send money in. And
how much do you have to raise for this project?
It's in excess of 1.3 million. That was our original budget, but the price of construction is going up right now, so
yes.
We're rebudgeting. So maybe 1.5 million. But that would be, it would include a nice part for our endowment as well. So
isn't that great? Well, give us a website again, so in case somebody wants to contribute.
Okay, it's www.sarasotaordobon.org, and it's Audubon. That's how you spell Audubon. It's a hard word.
Yes, it is a hard word.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today,
Yes.
and good luck with all your activities and your birdathon and your gift of nature. What a great cause.
Yes,
Thanks so much.
thank you so much for having me.
Next on Suncoast FYI, George Schofield with the Clarity Group is here with life tips. So keep it right here on SNN Local News. Thanks for staying with us on Suncoast FYI. George Schofield is here from the Clarity Group, LLC. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you here. You actually have such an interesting topic, especially to me, because it's about people over 50.
Right.
And in the middle group there before you get much more elderly.
It's the pre-senior group who are facing so many winding roads now in their lives they didn't expect.
And what are some of those interruptions that you had been mentioning?
Well, we have both straightaways in our lives and we have the winding roads. And the interruptions can, for instance, be divorce. The growth of divorce in people over 50 is enormous. 28% of the people divorced were over 50. It can be about employment. People who lose the 50-year-olds have stable jobs. The 55-year-olds have stable jobs. But when they lose them, it takes 22 or more weeks to replace the job, not necessarily at the same income, as opposed to the 13 weeks it takes for almost everyone else to replace the work. It can look like managing money and the value of retirement funds. It can look just about anything that's an interruption to plan.
Interesting. And you said 28% of people, of the divorce rate, 28% were over 50. And what do you attribute that to?
The fact that we actually are finally at a point where we're able to make choices we couldn't before, and we're freed up to do that. And sometimes that includes not being with the person that we've been with all this time.
Maybe that's also because they're empty nesters and disappointment in what they expected.
And this is not my expertise, but I would guess that people are simply freed up to make different choices. With those choices comes responsibility, however.
Interesting. And tell us about finances for people over 50. What are some of those issues?
Oh, the issues are around, I've created debt, I've created a home equity line of credit, and now I have to pay for it. It's around how do I extend my income stream because I don't have enough money saved to be able to retire when I thought I could. It's around I've lost my job, how do I create a new income stream? It can be, I'm tired of the work I've been doing and I can see the end of that. How do I craft a life that has has the right mix? Part-time work, part-time income stream, new forms of stimulation, because I'm not ready to be old yet, and yet I'm not really living in the world that I was living in before, and what I was good at 30 is not necessarily going to serve me well at 65.
You know, you just described me.
Okay.
Actually, because that's a very hard age, I think, to be when you have been working. And you're not in that 30-year-old group anymore, and you have to sort of reinvent yourself
Right.
again. And so I think probably people over
Right.
50 are reinventing themselves. And so you have done a lot of research on this.
I have.
And you wrote a book?
I wrote a book called After 50. It's up to us. It's available through Barnes & Noble and through Amazon electronically.
Isn't that great? And so, oh gosh, how long did it take you to write this book?
Oh, it took me quite a while because I didn't actually understand the question I was trying to answer. So I worked into the question, and I realized that for me, the question was what I was good at 30 when I had small children, or what I was good at 45 when I had teenagers, or when I was a CEO. Those aren't necessarily all of them the skills that I'm going to have to be good at 65. So what am I going to have to leave behind with appreciation? How am I going to know how to bring the best forward with me? And what am I going to have to get good at later in my life that I could start on working now? That's what I ended up researching, and that's what I ended up writing about. What are we going to have to be good at? And how am I going to take more responsibility for me than anybody else takes?
And I think it's so much harder these days. We only have like a minute less, but so much harder these days because of the technology that a lot of people who are in their 50s or 60s are sort of maybe left behind somewhat because of the technology is so huge now.
Yes, and even though people in our general age group are very interested in social media personally, they don't necessarily have the skills to be able to take into the workplace and become employed using them. And one of the big trends is contract workers, people who work part-time. There aren't necessarily going to be the kinds of jobs available, for instance, long-term permanent jobs that we expected before. So after 50, it's up to us. We're going to have straightaways, we're going to have winding roads, and we're going to have to be adaptable.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And just tell us the name of the book again.
After 50, it's up to us.
Great. And we'll be right back on Suncoast FYI. Donna Mader and Alicia Chalmers are here to talk about the legacy of valor. But first, the very latest from SNN Local News. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Suncoast FYI. Donna Mader is immediate past president of the Junior League of Sarasota, and Alicia Chalmers is Legacy of Valor coordinator with the Patterson Foundation. Welcome, ladies. It's so fun to have you here.
Thank you, Wendy.
So tell us, Donna, what is this event that's coming up?
Well, Wendy, the Legacy of Valor campaign will have many community organizations honoring veterans, embracing freedom, and inspiring patriotism throughout this coming year into 2014. The Junior League of Sarasota is working with the Junior League of Manatee County, and we are presenting the Legacy of Valor Celebration Luncheon on Thursday, November 7th, specifically to honor veterans in our community.
Isn't that terrific? And where is it going to be held at?
This luncheon will be at Dolphin Aviation, which is right near our Sarasota airport. It will be at 11 o'clock, again on Thursday, November 7th. And the event's open to the public, and we'd like to see as many people, including our community veterans, attend the event.
And tickets, where can they get their tickets?
Yes, great question. There will be lots of print and media advertising, but anyone can do a Google search or an internet search. Junior League of Sarasota has a link to purchase tickets. Junior League of Manatee, Legacy of Valor has a link to purchase tickets, and they can just call Junior League of Sarasota or Junior League of Manatee County. Tickets start at $40, patron tickets at $75. So it's a very affordable day, and there'll be an incredible speaker, so it will be a wonderful event.
Well, terrific. And Alicia, so tell us about the Legacy of Valor and how this all got started with the Patterson Foundation.
Great question. The Patterson Foundation decided to construct Patriot Plaza, which is a ceremonial amphitheater out at Sarasota National Cemetery. And it's under construction right now and will be dedicated next spring or summer of 2014. So during that time, we decided to do Legacy of Valor, which is a campaign of community-driven partnerships that honors veterans, inspires patriotism, and embraces freedom. So we're having over 100 partners, anything from arts and cultural, civic, community, and human service organizations.
Terrific. So there's lots of events that are going to be happening this
Yes.
year until next summer?
Absolutely. If you go to www.freedompassiton.com, you can find out all of our events, and exactly it'll be through next summer, and we really would like everyone to be involved through their time, talents, and treasures.
You know, it's really nice because I've been hearing about this Legacy of Valor for a couple of months already, obviously, and it's just terrific that you have taken this and made our veterans such a priority, because I think that we sort of, with this particular war, it seems they've sort of fallen by the wayside sometimes. So it's really nice that all of a sudden I see all these job opportunities and job fairs for veterans. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for them and for our community to show their support for all they've done for us by encouraging our freedom.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So at this luncheon, you have entertainment.
We do. In addition to drum lines and singing from some of our local school children, we have an incredible motivational speaker, Kenny Thomas, and we have his book on display today. Kenny Thomas is a former veteran, a U.S. Army Ranger. He participated in the Battle of Mogadishu, And right now, that area of the world, Somalia, is big in the news. The battle was immortalized in the film Black Hawk Down. Kenny is an incredible speaker, and he will be with us to address the audience. And anyone who has heard him speak, and several members of our league have, said you come away with such an incredible understanding of how they focus on teamwork, each other, and you really have an insight into what it means to protect your band of brothers. Kenny talks too just about goal setting, team building, and is overall an incredible, dynamic, and motivational guy.
What a great luncheon that's going to be. And so tell us again real quickly, it's on November 7th?
Yes, the Thursday before Veterans Day at Dolphin Aviation, 11 to 1:30. Again, Dolphin is right off the South Trail, right near the airport, and anyone can contact Junior League of Sarasota, Junior League of Manatee, Patterson Foundation to get ticket information and look in your local news.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being here today. Next on Suncoast FYI, we're talking about the Senior Olympics. Stay tuned. Back now on Suncoast FYI, Iris Starr is with Kobernik-Anshin Benderson, and that's a big mouthful. So tell us what Kobernik-Anshin Benderson is, Iris. But first, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you.
It's always fun to have a friend of mine here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us, what is this?
Kobernik-Anshin Benderson, which is a mouthful, is a independent assisted memory rehab facility.
Goodness.
I know, and it's quite a wonderful campus. We're fortunate to be the probably the only one in Sarasota that there is no buy-in. It's all rental, and the rehab center has a 5-star rating in the state of Florida.
Well, as you know, my mother was in Anshin Pavilion when she had dementia, and it was a wonderful experience, and they did a wonderful job with her. So I have a special place in my heart for Kobernik-Anshin Benderson. So tell us, you have an event coming up called Senior Olympics, and tell us, what is this all about?
Well, we're I am part of the foundation, and a majority of our job is to raise funds for the benevolent care. And that means that once you come in, we raise the funds so you never have to leave, which is a great peace of mind for the individual, but also for their families.
So once you are a resident there, in some respect, then if you run out of money someday, you will not be kicked out.
Correct. And that is a great relief to a lot of people.
So tell us about the Senior Olympics event.
This is the first one, and it's going to be November 5th at 10 a.m. on campus. And we're inviting all seniors.
And what age is a senior?
Well, that's kind of personal. No, I would say anything from 50s on up as a senior. And we're inviting all seniors in the area, all senior developments and organizations that want to join. There's a $10 registration fee, but we'll be doing a lot of fun things. It's a 0.5K.
I love that.
And we're calling it a walk or roll, because you can walk or roll in your wheelchairs or roll in your walkers.
Perfect.
It's fabulous. We'll be doing a Mind Olympics.
Testing our memories?
Well, a lot of it will be about sports.
Oh.
And there'll be a lot of other activities. You'll all be getting T-shirts, and there'll be water and snacks available. It's from 10 to 12 on our campus.
And the campus is located where?
Our campus is on Honore, right off of 17th Street.
Great. I know I pass it a lot, actually. And so tell us a little bit more about Kobernik-Anshin Benderson and what actually you all do over there, because you have like a 3 or 4 pronged.
It's amazing. We were going to have our 20th anniversary, and it's a continued care, and it was the dream of the founders. Like we were saying, that you come, you're independent, you may have to go into assisted, you may have to go into memory, or you might be anybody going into rehab, but once you're there, and as you said, if you run out of funds, you never have to leave. And it's really kind of wonderful, because there can be couples where one will be in Kobernik and one might be in Anshin and one might be in Benderson, and they can see each other every day.
So Kobernik House is for independent living.
Correct.
And so they get one meal a day. Is that how it works?
It depends on what your agreement is and what size apartment you have. Dinner is served every evening, and the men have to dress for dinner. They have to wear jackets. It's really wonderful when I'm leaving work and seeing everybody getting ready. It's like going to a restaurant.
And Anshin Pavilion is for assisted living.
Right. We call it a cruise ship that doesn't leave the dock.
It's perfect. I
It's
love cruise
perfect.
ships.
Me too.
So meals are provided there.
Activities all day long. There's mahjong, there's cards, there's reading, there's knitting. It's a wonderful facility.
Day trips and all that
Yeah,
great
oh
stuff.
my God, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so just tell us real quickly, because we only have a few seconds left. This is on November 5th.
November 5th at 10 a.m. Please contact me at Kobernick House if for any information that you might need. And we hope everybody come out and join us.
For the Senior Olympics at Kobernick Anshin Benderson.
That's
right
it.
there off Honore off 17th. Well, thank you, Iris, for being here today. And we'll be back in a minute on Suncoast FYI. Stay tuned. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks so much for joining us. If you'd like to promote your business or event on Suncoast FYI, we'd love to hear from you. Just call our sales department at 941-361-4223. I'm Wendy Mann-Resnick, and we'll see you next Friday on Suncoast FYI.